Good evening. Wow, that's atrocious. What's we get here? All right, we're live. One watching, welcome in. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. This is the Brent Shimko Rock and Roll Mechanic channel, also known as the channel about nothing. You've heard of the show about nothing? Some guy back in the 90s, some comedian or something was doing something like that. Oh my, I got a whole channel about nothing. Get some extra power in here. Streaming in horizontal mode today, just because. Good evening, good evening. We'll just let a few more people wander in. We're going to start this live stream with the vinyl CD reveal, because there's not much to do on the Massey. I can explain what I did in the last day. I took that battery that was suspect, put it on the charger all day yesterday while I was running around. Welcome in, Josephine, watching from New York. Hey. I've been through New York behind the wheel of a big rig. So I've been over I think it was the George Washington Bridge. Oh, I think I was over the George Washington Bridge 3 times, and you got to pay a toll every time you go. I got totally lost. I was trying to find a truck stop that was right at the kind of the foot of the bridge, and I missed the exit. I had a drop in New Jersey, like for the morning, like on the docks, and I didn't want to sleep on the docks just because it seemed a little sketch. So I ended up paying tolls like 3 ways to try to find where I was going. And of course the truck stop was completely full, so I wasn't even able to stay there anyway. I think I did sleep on the dock. And then I had the best gyro sandwich and bowl of soup I think I've ever eaten in my life off the food truck. My goodness. Shout out to that Greek dude with the food truck. You're a legend. Oh. That was one of the most memorable meals of my life. So yeah, we had that battery. We couldn't really crank the tractor over yesterday because just wasn't taking a charge, but I put a trickle charger on it and got it up to around 12.5 volts by the time I got home, and it held that charge. I tested it earlier today, so it still had like 12.5 volts, so that should be enough to crank it. If not, I'll fire up the truck and try to boost it again. We're going to check the gas. We'll empty the sediment bowl because there's a lot of goobers in there and see if there's any water in the gasoline. I haven't even checked the gas tank. I think there's gas in it from last fall. Should still be fine, but I'm curious to see if there's any water in the bottom of the tank. So we'll drain a little bit off, empty that sediment bowl. I clean the posts on the battery, and I clean the cable clamps on the tractor off camera. You didn't need to see me do that. It's kind of a nothing kind of thing. So it's all set up to do my fake mechanicking there. So we're gonna reconnect the battery, inspect the fuel. There's a little inline filter that whatever the sediment bowl doesn't catch, just a little paper filter that on the rubber fuel line just before the carb. So as long as there's gas in there, it should fire up. So it's always been a very easy starting tractor. So glad to see you. Welcome in. Where all the usual suspects are. I'll give everybody a chance. What's happening in New York today? Are you here for the music or are you here for the tractor repair? And I assumed you're from New York City, but I've also been through New York State a fair amount. It's just gorgeous up there. Oh my gosh, especially now at this time of year. For the next 2 months as the leaves turn, oh, through those hills and mountains there, it is fantastic scenery in upstate New York. All kinds of neat little places to see. That's about all I know about New York. been past New York City, you know, saw the skyline from the bridge. It's pretty impressive, but you know, behind the wheel of a big rig, you're not able to sit and take in the sights and do the tourist thing. So we always joked in the industry, truck drivers are professional tourists, but we don't really do the tourist thing. We get to see a lot from our window, but that's about it. But if you're ever on the docks in New York, is it Elizabeth, New York? Or is that where? Or New Jersey? I forget exactly the town, but check out that Greek food truck if you're ever by there. Mind you, that was 20 years ago, so I think it's probably still there. Shoot, 25 years ago. Crazy how time flies. I remember it just like it was yesterday. Well, Josephine, it looks like just you and me are going through my record albums. We're going to do that first because I've been cleaning out my barn, getting ready to take stuff to auction tomorrow. And I need a little bit of a break, so I'm having a coffee. Just unwind a bit. Let the people trickle in before we hear that Massey Ferguson Super 90 roar to life again. So it was a very small purchase. A shout out to what is it called? Planet of Sound in Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's kind of in my old neighborhood, so familiar grounds to me. I was doing some business in that corner of the city, so it's always kind of one of my designated stops when I'm in town. I live about 45 minutes from the big city. So I was doing a little bit of running around yesterday, picked up this nice skid steer trailer that I'm loading up, and stopped in a Planet of Sound. I had in mind that I was going to buy this Birds, the Best of the Birds. It was a 4 CD compilation, and it had a lot of good titles, but the reason I wanted it, it had the Graham Parsons tracks from the Princess of the Rodeo, where some of his tracks were replaced for the official release by the studio. It was some contractual thing from what I understand, so but somebody had bought it, so that was off my list. And then after, you know what, I'm gonna check out this Motorhead release. I thought it was a box set, but it was just a special release of one album, and they wanted $100, and I'm like, I'm not putting $100 down for just a special issue vinyl. So it came with a big book, and there was two, from what I could see on the label, there was two pieces of vinyl, one with the album, I can't even remember the album, and then one was at half speed, so you could I guess if you really wanted to blow your mind, you could or your eardrums, I guess, I don't know, crank it and listen to Lemmy and the Gang at half speed. But I passed on that. It was a little too, I thought it was a boxed compilation or multi vinyl release or something. For one album, like, I couldn't do it. I'm not gonna do it. But anyways, let's get going with the vinyl release. I don't know if you could see in the thumbnail some hints of what I was able to get into my filthy little farmer hands here. What time is it? Maybe I told everybody 7 o'clock, so no, it's 7 o'clock, so we're good. You come late, don't complain when you miss out. That's it. I'm looking at you. What's the matter, you? Anyways, I wasn't even gonna look through CDs, but because I wasn't gonna make those other purchases, I figured, let's see what they got. So I'll take the label off. This was $10. I usually look for bargains on CDs, but I probably would be able to find this one. But had this one on cassette back in the day, Queen, The Miracle. Probably not one of their best albums, but I do remember buying this when it came out as a filthy little teenager. The degenerate that I was and still am. So this is kind of just for sentimental, what do they call that? I was reminiscing about days of old. So I'll stick that in the CD player while I'm bombing around town. And the last time I was there, I picked up a bunch of Black Oak, Arkansas. This one I passed over because I had picked up quite a bit last time, so I kind of had to rein myself in. But this was $7, in very good shape. I'd rather be sailing. I don't think I know any of the tracks on this, but I've been listening to the other Black Oak, Arkansas that I purchased a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, and enjoying that stuff. So I figured I'd give this a try. 1978. Capricorn Records. Is this Canadian release or what? I'm not gonna go through them. There's no fancy cover art or nothing. Let's see. I'm just curious if this is a Canadian or. Yeah, this is made in Snow, Mexico. And someone at one point had marked it at $15. So for only just under 7 Canadian pesos, I was able to snag some more Black Oak, Arkansas. It's always a good day when you can do that. that back. These other two, I don't even think I'm going to pull out of the covers. This one, they had there last time, and I passed on it as well. And a classic I got for $10. I passed over last time because I thought $10 for this, I don't know. $10 is about kind of my limit for vinyl. And it's stuff I'm really looking for. But I didn't realize I was looking for this one, but it's Cheech and Chong's wedding album. And really this one, it's got Earache My Eye on it. So that was the track from Up in Smoke where they were in the Battle of the Bands. So this has got that track on it. So just really for that one song alone. I don't know what else is on here. I haven't listened to this yet, but I'll give that a listen to. And then just as I paid for those three, so I had limited my purchase to it's like not even $30, right? So I thought, okay, finally walked in and out of this store without breaking the bank. And then I saw, of course, there's another box sitting on the counter right by the door. It's like, oh man, I said, what is this? Is this new releases, or what is there used albums in here? It's like there's a little bit of both, some new and some used. So I started flipping through it. There was a couple good titles in there. They actually had Alice Cooper, Love It to Death for 20. Was it that one? What was I saying? But I had just purchased that one a few weeks ago. But I did come across this for 20 bucks. So I pulled my wallet out again because I just needed to get this in my filthy little fingers. So the cover is not in great shape, but the vinyl looks very good. So I just figured this is going to be a good one to listen to on a good quality turntable. So I guess the next hi-fi upgrade is going to be some better speakers. Because I've got a decent receiver. Well, who doesn't love Cheech and Chong? Well, actually, I think you're saying I love Cheech. This silly heart is in the way. How do you get this reaction heart out of there? Oh yeah, I love Cheech and Chong. Yeah, I've been listening to Cheech and Chong since I was like 10. Good stuff. What did I have? Well, I think I had Up in Smoke. I got a few of them. I can't even remember. Don't even remember the titles. Yeah, it's been a while since I listened to Cheech and Chong. Well, yeah, my coffee is down to 1/3 of the way, so we'll jump on that Massey right away. See who else wanders in. What other news have I got? Oh, I met this super interesting guy last night. I should have told him he needs a YouTube channel. Like every once in a while, you just meet a character, right? Well, this is kind of one of the well, like, how do you even describe this guy? He wasn't eccentric. He wasn't an oddball. Like, he was almost so similar to me that, like, just his whole thing in life is messing with people. Good evening, Dad. And I was selling him a can of rust paint. I could do a whole live stream just on this guy. Maybe I will. But he's kind of one of those unique guys. Like, this guy's got something going on. He was telling stories and showing me around his place. He's got all his equipment and tools. You know, very similar to me, but on a much larger scale, where I've got snow blowers and tillers and, you know, garden tractors. He's got dozers, excavators, tree skidders, skid steers, crawlers, a backhoe. Like, he had everything. And then a shop full of projects he was working on, and like it was just mind-blowing what he was into. And I said, I really admire what you're doing here. Keep up the good work. And he just said, this is my toy collection. I don't know if he was jerking me around or what. He says, this is just stuff I play around with and just have here. I don't have an excavating company. So. Again, he told me to my face he likes telling stories, so that could have been just a story he was telling me, but very interesting character. He would have a good YouTube following if he had a channel. Definitely wouldn't be a show about nothing. Ex-Canadian military sniper. And it sounded like he's seen some stuff. So, and yeah, just maybe a few years older than me. Like, he didn't look like quite 60 yet. So just on the cusp of the baby boomer Gen X generation there. Welcome in, Brandon Mitchell. Let's raise a glass. Cheers, my friend. So you guys all missed the big vinyl reveal. It was very small, so it was Queen the Miracle. I bought for sentimental reasons on CD. Run through that again quickly. Found some more Black Oak, Arkansas. Again, this is going to be on the exam, so make sure you're taking good notes. But you can cheat off your neighbor's paper. Cheech and Chong's wedding album, featuring, it probably wasn't a top 40 single, but Earache My Eye from the Battle of the Bands and the classic movie Up in Smoke. And then, as I was making my way out the door, I saw one last bin that I didn't look through, and so I found this for $20. Cover's not in the greatest shape, but the vinyl is, so I'm looking forward to listening to that on my new turntable. Because I'd never had that one on vinyl. I think I had it on cassette and I had it on CD. I currently have it on CD on the Shine On box set. I just have the CDs. I don't have the box or the book that came with it, and I don't have the early singles CD, but I've got the albums. Ooh, excuse me. So I was listening to a lot of that. In the last year or so, but now I've got a lot more CDs I'm listening to, so it's fun driving around listening to these old tunes. So how's everybody doing tonight? My coffee's almost done. We're gonna tackle that Massey. And just to set the stage again, I charged up that battery and it's keeping a charge. Ever played to the Wizard? No, I've heard that. I'm skeptical that that's a thing. I've kind of seen the debunk videos on YouTube. I've heard the band talk about it. in interviews. Never tried it. Have you tried it? I'm curious to see what people's experience is. I can't speak with authority other than to say I'm skeptical that there's an intentional correlation or a metaphysical, inexplicable synchronicity there. Maybe there is. I don't know. But yeah, I've seen music commentators make videos about that phenomenon, alleged phenomenon, on YouTube, and I could always give it a try. So, I mean, while you're listening to the album, like what does it hurt to queue up the Wizard of Oz? I'm sure that's on YouTube. But we got the battery charged. I haven't installed it, but I cleaned off the posts. It had all that oxide or acid residue. So I think we were having a pretty bad battery connection yesterday. That's why I wasn't taking the boost from the truck that well either. But I charged it throughout the day yesterday, that battery, and it was up to 12.5 volts. So I was happy with that, and it hasn't really dropped. So it's holding a charge. That should be sufficient to get it going. If not, I'll try boosting it again. And then I clean the clamps, the cable clamps, off camera. Just spray it down with brake cleaner and just wire brushed them a bit, clean them off. The battery box itself had a bunch of that nasty white powdery acid residue, so I sprayed some WD-40 on that to break it down, and some penetrating into the metal to protect the steel on the battery box. And then, oh, okay, I gotta fetch it. I'm back. I am back. Remember that bolt that was kind of threading in all funky yesterday? Well, I chased it out. I think it was this one. So the hole didn't seem to have a little bit of crusties in there. And then I ran the bolt through this. So the first few threads on the bolt were looking like they were getting mashed. So clean that up, and it just slid in place like butter. So I torqued that down. But when we get to the tractor, I'm going to show you a little trick. Maybe everybody knows this, but just about done my smoke. My coffee's done, and we'll run over there and get down to business, which is going to be reconnecting the battery, and then we're going to check the fuel. So I'm going to dump the sediment bowl because there's a lot of boogers hanging out in the bottom of that, and I wanted to see if there's any water in the fuel. I'm just curious because there should be some fuel left in it. I haven't lifted the cowl to look inside the gas tank to see what's in there, but I think it was gassed up when I parked it, or there was gas in it, not gassed up. I use it so little, I usually just throw a jerry can in at a time, 4 or 5 gallons, not even. Unless I'm you know, cleaning out the barn or scraping manure, that's going to take some time. A lot of my use for that tractor doesn't involve running it for long periods of time, so I just keep minimal gas in it, just enough so that the tank doesn't rot out. But let's I think we're pretty much ready to head over there. What am I missing? I'll take a sip of water. So let's go for a walk. And yeah, streaming in horizontal today just because. I don't know if you can hear in the background and see, but the boys are on the field combining the barley, driving around the countryside yesterday. Lots of the cereal crops were getting harvested, so saw combines and grain trucks all over the place. So, and it was hot today, so that's why I decided to do this end of the day. It's cooled down some. This here. So let me show you the little thing I discovered. Let's get you right up close here. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. All right, this is all live, unedited, whatever this is. Mechanic malarkey. So it was, I think, this bolt that was giving me the trouble yesterday. So with the tool that comes with the tap and die set, you're supposed to stick this thing in here, tighten it down, and then run your threads in there. But as you can see, this handle, when you try to twist it, you're not able to rotate it. So what I did is I ran to the shop and I found one of these. And that is a 1/4 inch, where's the camera on this thing? 1/4 inch 8-point, which fits snugly enough with a 1/4 inch drive, and with a 1/4 inch ratchet I was able to spin that in there. And what I do is I just dunk this in motor oil so that it's lubricated, and it cleaned out the threads in the transmission housing where that into this big chunk of steel here, actually way down here. So this portion here is where the thread, like that bolt was about this long. So I drove it in there, and it came out. It had a little bit of crud on it, but the 8 points, I mean, they're not terribly practical for most applications today, unless you're working on stuff with square-headed bolts. I don't have a ton of 8 points. For whatever reason, I've got a ton of 1/4 inch 8 points, and it did the trick today. So I just leave that in my tap and die set, and help you get into tight spaces with a ratchet. So that's my little tip of the day. All right, so is this a good spot for you guys? I think so. I'll just move you over even a little bit more. So the battery's over here. is just a 1/2 inch nut. The battery cables or the clamps were nice and tight yesterday, so that it wasn't loose cables, but you can still see a little bit of the residue of the nastiness that was on there. So the key's off. Positive cable in. Oriented in such a way that I'm not going to short it out. Get a little further. Probably don't have any. Let's see. There we go. 1 inch impact is a makeshift hammer. I think I can live with that. So at this point, I don't want to ground the wrench to the body of the tractor, otherwise this will turn into a welding video. All right, that ain't going nowhere. So we'll close that up for now. And then we're going to focus on the sediment bowl here. So not very close. I'm going to wipe it off. Pretty grungy looking. So you guys got to see this. I'll bring you a little closer, just for this one shot. Actually, I'll take you out of the tripod. Here. So, where is it? So I don't know if you can see in the bottom of the bowl here. It looks like the ocean floor with all this sand and gravel and rust and chips of who knows what. So we're gonna dump that out and drain a little bit of. Oh, hi, Mr. Spider. Drain a little bit of the fuel out. So I want to catch some fuel in this glass jar, and then whatever's in the sediment bowl, I'm just going to dump it in the pail here. Now this does have a fuel shut-off, so I'm going to turn the fuel shut-off so it's closed, but it always has a tendency to leak anyway, so we'll get a few dribbles coming out, but I'm going to try to catch the dribbles in here anyway. Oh, this thing's probably tight. Oh, that's not too bad. Nasty. Oh, that's so nasty. Oh, that spider didn't like getting showered with gasoline either. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy. All right. So let's open this up a bit. Okay, that's good. Oh yeah, that's pretty grungy, but we'll let that sit for a minute, see if there's water there. Let me put this back in place. Turn the fuel back on. Oh, there's gas in there. But yeah, it's all full of all kinds of fun stuff. By fun, I mean not fun. But there's an inline fuel filter over in front of the carb. I'm not seeing any water, so that's good. So that'll be used to start a bonfire later. We'll do some barbecuing. Open fire barbecue. So I think that's it. Let's clear a path here to the driver's seat, driver's station. Get you out of the way. Back you guys up a bit. Let's see if it fires up. So I'm thinking at this point, provided that battery is sufficient to crank it, it should fire up pretty easily. Just make sure stuff is not going to fall off when I fire it up. I guess we go get the truck again. If not, I wonder if I have a battery we can switch in there. I really do want to start it up for you guys today. I think the truck should do it. So let's put you guys here. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute or two. And I'll go get the diesel. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I threw another old battery on the tailgate of the truck. We could test it, see what the voltage is. I don't think it's any good, but it might take a boost better than this battery. We'll hook up the cables again and see what happens. There, okay. That's something I wasn't seeing yesterday. When I connected the positive, it sparked up. So let's see what happens now. Okay, what we'll do is we'll let the truck charge this battery for a little bit because it's definitely cranking faster than it was. In the meantime, how about we go test that other battery? See if we have a decent spare or not. Yeah, maybe streaming and is the way to go. I don't know. Okay. Cheapo multimeter here. Set to 20 volts. Doesn't matter which side you hook up to what. Now we're testing at 10 volts. So this is probably junk. So I could stick that on a trickle charger overnight and see what it's at in the morning, but I think that battery was stored where it was because it needed to go to the dump. Or whoever recycles those things. Alright, so let's give this another pop. Okay, how about we cheat a bit and I'll give a little shot of carb spray into the intake. So we're gonna go run to the shop, grab that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's go around the other side again. What we have here is this little port on the intake. I'm just gonna take that out. So we'll spray some carb spray into each cylinder. See what we can get in that. I need to overdo it. That back in. Now we'll see if it'll lick off. Power stroke growling at you, behind you, all run around the other side and hit that starter again. Well, let's have a little sit down here. So it is going to start. It's just being a little stubborn. So we'll give it another chance to charge for a few minutes and crank it over again. It hasn't ran in almost a year now. So it's not surprised that it's being a little crotchety and cranky. No pun intended. Get it? Cranky. So, yeah, on this, I guess I can't see chats at all on this phone. So let's maybe crack open a Dr. Pepper. We'll see if there's anybody in the chats that has an idea of what we can try here. So I'm not going to go through the carb. I guess I could drain the bowl. There might be, yeah, there could be nastiness in the bowl. Let's go see what I need there. I think it's just a nut. And we might be able to do that right now. See if there's any water in that. Could be water in the bowl. Okay, I'm gonna go get my glass jar and we'll inspect the fuel that's in the fuel bowl. Again, I'll use the all 6 nut rounder. Should come off pretty easy. Now if you guys want to see what I'm doing here, I'll reposition you. Why not? You paid for the whole ticket, may as well give you the whole show, right? So, on the bottom of the carb, there's a little drain hole, another drain plug. So cut that off. I don't want to round that. I'm going to go run get a 7/16 ratchet and socket, and we'll pull that off properly.